Department of Civil Engineering, organized by the Department of Civil Engineering for the third semester students for the course Civil Engineering Drafting Lab. In fact, we have been till now engaged in drawing details of buildings like doors, windows, trusses, etc. We have also graduated to drawing of single and double-storied residences and some other types of buildings like office buildings, public health centers, etc., depending upon how many classes you have got. So now it is time to see how professionals, engineers and architects do the work. What do they submit to the authorities to get the sanction? What do the authorities check in the drawings to grant approval, etc.? So we thought it is better that we have somebody from the Department of Architecture to tell us exactly how we go about in the process. Today, we are fortunate to have Professor Huda Abdul Salam, faculty in the Department of Architecture, to take the lecture for you. She has been in practice from 2009 onwards after her graduation. In 2015, she joined TKM College of Engineering as a faculty in the Department of Architecture. Now she has been selected to do her PhD in IIT Roorkee. She will be talking to you on site plan and service plan. That is, in fact, what is covered in exercise number 10 of your syllabus. And then she will be going on to give you details of drawings on building services and on-site wastewater disposal systems like septic tank and soak pit. What we want you to do is, want the students to do is pay full attention to the lecture. And at the end of the program, at the end of the lecture, maybe it will cover 1.5 hours. She will be giving you some a small quiz, and also she will be giving you 2 exercises which you can draw. You can take instructions from the faculty who is in charge of your lab. She will be giving you the question, the exercise questions, and you can work on it and submit it according to the instructions of the faculty in charge of your lab or your class. So welcome to Professor Huda Abdul Salam. We are so thankful to you for accepting our invitation. This is the best that we can do to organize a lecture, an expert lecture for the Civil Engineering Drafting Lab. Welcome, Professor Huda.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me for this session. And I hope it's S3 students, right? I think we can directly go on to the session. Is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to have an interactive session. So you can ask questions in between if you have any doubts, or if you are not clear about what we are discussing here, you can just unmute yourself and ask the doubts in between. Okay. And I prefer to have some kind of response from student side also. Whenever I ask questions, or maybe if I ask whether you understood like that. But yeah. Can I start my presentation? Gopika, you there? I'll be picking up names from the student list and calling you. Please respond. Gopika, you there? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't get tensed. It is just an interactive session. Think like we are discussing about the few aspects of sanction and like site planning and approval process and everything. You can freely ask me anything regarding the topics we are discussing here. So free to ask questions in between and discuss in between. Okay. So I'm going to start my presentation. The screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So myself, Huda, I've already say my ma'am gave a like brief introduction. I'm working in the architecture department. So first and foremost, what do you know about a building construction? Anyone? Do you know anything about building construction? Whatever you know about building construction, just tell me. I need to call on the names. Abhimanyu,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
do you know about building construction? Hmm?
Building construction.
You are in your third semester, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's been 2 semester, nearly 1 year you are studying in your civil engineering department. Anyway, some part of that deals with the construction industry also. So what do you know about building construction?
Process of adding structure to real property.
Hmm? Okay. Alina Johnson. Anaka. Anu Thomas. ആർക്കൊന്നും പറയാനില്ല?
Anu Thomas a teacher ആണ്.
അയ്യോ സോറി. Archana. Okay, if you don't have anything to say, I think I should go forward. Otherwise, 1.5 hours will തീരത്തില്ല. You're not responding.
Students, please do interact. Otherwise, it will be a monologue only from one side. Please don't do that.
Okay, do you know the process of construction? Like what all things need to be done in a chronological order, hierarchical order? What all things need to be done for constructing a building, or before constructing a building? What all things do you need to check? Do you have any idea? Even if it is wrong, it's fine. You just come up with your ideas, your understanding.
First, we have to select the appropriate site depending on all our requirements.
You need a site. Then
Once we get all the appropriate requirements, then we have to make a plan.
Then sorry.
Once the drawing is completed, we have to set it out in field.
Somebody. Excuse me, somebody who's dealing with the technical side, can you please help me with the annotation where I can find the annotation? Yeah, I got it. Okay. You are saying you need to have a site, isn't it? Then you need to have a drawing or a building plan, isn't it? Somebody was saying. What
Once
else
the
you need?
drawing is completed, we can set it out in the field.
Is it? Once the drawing is complete, can you directly go and set it out on the set? If something like that
We need to
happens,
give it for approval.
yeah. Before that, you need to go for the approval. If otherwise, as you said earlier, if it is like you have the plan and you go directly to the site and set it out, the thing is, each and every person will construct the building as his wish. Or maybe the entire plot will be taken for the construction so that there won't be any open spaces. And if you are building your building with like abutting your sites, end to end of your site you are utilizing for construction, then where the adjacent person will start construction. All this chaos or confusions will happen. For that, we do have a regulating body for building construction. So that you need to take an approval from them. Which all things are the regulating authorities or regulating agencies that control the building construction? Any idea that? You can say, but it might be wrong, it might be correct, whatever it is, you just come up with your understanding.
Our drawing must satisfy KBR if it is if the construction work is happening in Kerala.
Yeah, if it is in Kerala, that you need to satisfy the KBR. Now it is known as KMPR or KPBR. And the full form, I will explain the full form. That is correct. Okay. That much is correct. So basically, you need to get the approval from your local authority. Okay. Whatever the local authority, you need to get the sanction or the approval from the local authority. It can be panchayat or it can be corporation. In Kerala, what is the other one? Like one more thing is there other than this panchayat and corporation. Do you know? It is municipality. Municipality. Okay. So this is the local authority. From the local authority, you need to get sanction for the construction of your building. In Kerala, basically in India itself, like we do have three kind of local authorities from which the plot that you are going to build a building, that plot belongs to a panchayat area, you need to take the permission from the panchayat. If it belongs to a corporation, you need to take the permission from a corporation. And if it is in a municipality, you will need to get the permission from municipality. This is for a medium-sized small building. And depending upon the size of the building and the occupancy of the building, you need to come up with other approvals also. Okay. Apart from this local authority permissions, you need to take special permissions depending upon the occupancy. Any understanding about that? Have you heard about this thing before? Parnolu, someone?
Yes.
Parnolu. Okay. So you don't know, maybe. So for a normal residential building itself, if it is exceeding a certain limit of area, directly you can't take the approval from the local authority. You need to go to the town planning department first. Okay. With a consent from the local authority, you need to take the permission from the town planner, higher authorities. Okay. But then other than that, depending upon the occupancy, also you will need to take permission from, or maybe your building should comply with the regulations of that particular occupancy guidelines. Okay, for example, if you are going for a residential building, it will be a normal local authority sanction, or maybe from a town planning department. If it is a villa or an apartment which exceeds a certain limit of area, you can go for town planning department permission. But then if it is an educational building, depending upon the course in that particular educational institution, you need to take approval from competing authority. For example, if it is a technical education institute, you need to go for approval from your AICTE for a technical education. Within AICTE, there are rules and regulations for the infrastructure or the building requirements, the space requirements. All these things will be mentioned in AICTE. Similarly, if for architecture, I am from an architecture background, so for an architectural school or an institute which have approval from Council of Architecture, you need to go for the rules and regulations or the infrastructural facilities prescribed by Council of Architecture. There will be rules or minimum requirements regarding the classroom sizes, maybe the number of classrooms, types of labs required, size of labs, lots of things will be. Not going into detail about these things. Only thing you need to have an understanding that other than the local authority sanctioning, we need to get approval from different other organizations. At least in some cases, you don't need an approval, but then in that scenario, your plan should abide to the rules and regulations of that particular occupancy. They won't, in some cases, they won't go for the approval. They won't give you a written approval or anything, but then during the inspection time, if you want to run a particular occupancy, you need to comply to the standards of that particular organization. For hotels and resorts, there are hospitality standards. Like that for factories, any guess? What is it for factories? There are regulations from the industrial department, factories and boilers department of the, from the unit to get the approval. For theaters also, assembly buildings, it comes under assembly buildings. So again, you need to consider the rules and regulations for that particular occupancy. Okay. Other than these things, for high-rise buildings or maybe buildings that are dealing with hazardous material, in all these things, you need to go for approval from maybe the fire and safety department, the pollution control board, etc. And if your site is very close to airport or any aviation facility, you need to go for the approval from the airport authority. This is an endless list depending upon the site location. This list continues. Okay. So whenever you are given, once you complete your degree and you come into practice as an engineer, if you are doing a sanctioning process, in that scenario, you need to check what all things are abide with, like repaired with your particular site as well as your particular occupancy. Both you need to be satisfied. Depending upon the location of the site, you need to go for approval from different agencies like airport, then maybe electrical lines is going above your plot. You need to take sanction from the electricity board, like that. Otherwise, depending on the occupancy also, you need to check the thing related to that particular occupancy, like educational, medical, etc. Okay. So that is some basic about sanctioning or approval. Okay. So let us check what is it for a small residential building from local authority. You just need it from local authority. Okay, the local authority can be a panchayat. If it is a panchayat, panchayat aanengil edana for panchayat. You need to follow KPBR. What is KPBR? Kerala Panchayat Building Rules. If it is a municipality or corporation, you can go for KMBR, Kerala Municipal Building Rules. And in the full form. Usually, before it was just KBR, Kerala Building Rules. But then in a later stage, they have divided that particularly for the panchayats and separately for the municipality and corporation. So we do have two rules, KPBR and KMBR, depending upon the location of the site. If it is in a panchayat area and the local authority controlling that site as panchayat, you need to follow the KPBR. And if it is municipality or corporation, you can follow KMBR. Okay. And one more thing is there, it is the NBC. As it is within India, all over India, you need to follow NBC. NBC, the full form is National Building Code. The updated one, whenever you check the rules for whether it is KNPR, KPBR or NBC, whatever it is, you need to check the updated version of these rules. These rules keeps on amending in between. So whenever you take, make sure that you are taking the updated one. Okay, the latest version of rules. So next question, we do have these different rule books. So are these rules, are all the rules same in all these three? Actually, the answer is no. I'm not waiting for your answer. I'm going ahead. So the answer is no. In that scenario, in some cases it will be same, and in some cases it will be different for different rules. So if you take any particular one rule, if you have two different set of rules in your two different rule books. In India, you need to, not in India, but in Kerala, you need to follow KMBR or KPBR plus NBC. These two should be followed in Kerala. When we take KMBR and NBC together, if we have some difference in rules, you need to go for the most stringent one. For example, in a particular rule, this is not the actual rule, I'm just writing it down as an example. Minimum distance from side boundary as per NBC is given as 3.5 meter, and as per KMBR it is 3 meter. Which one will you follow? NBC, as per NBC it is 3.5 meter. Minimum, the minimum distance of a site. For example, if this is your site, okay, if this is your site, this is the side boundary, isn't it, from the road. This is the side boundary from the road, and you are going to place your building like this. So this is the minimum front setback, or the distance from the side boundary in the front yard. That minimum is given as 3.5 in your NBC, 3.5 meters in your NBC, and 3 meter in your KMBR. Which will you follow? Which can be followed is 3.5. I hope you understood the logic behind that. It is very simple. If you go for a 3.5 meters, automatically you are giving minimum of 3 meters, so that it abides the rule of KMBR as well. So whatever is the stringent rule, you need to follow that. And another example is about like maximum. When we think of the maximum dimension or maximum thing that is given in a rule. And this I have given an example of height of the building. Okay, height of the building usually takes from the ground level. You have a ground like this, and you have a building with a number of floors in between. The maximum height of the building that is permissible as per NBC is 35 meters. Okay, as per NBC you can go up to 35 meters, and as per KMBR it is 30 meters. So you need to go for the lesser one. It is the maximum, so you can go for the lesser one. I hope you got an idea about checking rules with two different rule books. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then we can move on to the Kerala context. Maybe from the KMPR or KPBR, we are going for a sanction for a small residence. What all things that we need? We need an application form for approval. This is an example for an application form. Okay. This is an example for an application form. These days it is online so that we can give the credentials in an online portal and you can download the application letter. Along with the application form, you need to submit few other data, which includes the fee for the application. Then other than that, the copy of documents as mentioned by that particular local authority. Usually, for a plot without any other issues, they will ask just for two documents, basic documents, like is the tax receipt and the copy of deed. Copy of deed. Have you heard about deed? Deed is land deed. Okay, here it is the land deed. Adharam. In Malayalam, it is known as Adharam. I'll get it now, most of you. So you need to have the copy of your land deed, a photocopy of your land deed, then the tax receipt of your plot. These are the basic documents that you need for submitting an drawing for approval. Okay. Other than that, you need, obviously, you need the building drawing. I'm sorry for the spelling mistake there. Okay. So this is the basic things that you need. So within building drawings, what all things you need? Can you guess?
Plan, section, elevation.
Plan, section, elevation, then anything else?
Site details.
Site details. What all details in site? Okay. Anyway, we need the plan. Is just one plan enough? One plan is enough if it is a single story building. Okay. But then if you have multiple stories, you need to give floor plan for all the floors. In addition to that, you need to show the roof plan also. Okay. Then you have the section, you have the elevation. I'm not going into detail about these things because we are concentrating on your syllabus, and in that we are more interested in the site details. Okay. The section, like even then, I'm just giving you the brief idea why you need a section and why you need an elevation. Basically, in an elevation, it will be drawn as ground line will be there along the above the ground level. You will be showing the elevation of your building. If it is a sloping roof structure, it will be this like this. Okay. Basically, from the elevation, the local authority, whoever is giving the approval, they need to get the height of the building from the proposed ground level. In this, you need to show the proposed ground level as well as the existing ground level. Existing ground level as well as the proposed ground level. These two things should be shown and your maximum height of the building. Okay, this will be checked in from your elevation. Okay, and from your section, it will be somewhat similar to your elevation, but then along with that details of the ground level, heights, etc., you need to show the foundation details. Then you're discussing on the section, right? Okay, in section you need to show the details like your foundation details. Then heights obviously it will be there in the section, because in floor plans you can't show the heights, you can't show the different floors etc. in the section plan. Okay, so all these things will come in your section. Okay, heights, then the specifications like whatever materials you are using for the building construction, like the wall material, the roof material, the floor material, etc. All the specifications should be shown in your section, and each floor height, in between what is the slab thickness, all these things will be taken from your section part. So that is about your floor plans. Anyway, you need to show all the, just excuse me for a second. Okay. I'm sorry for that. I've got a call. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's about the plan, elevation, and section. Okay. All these things need to be there in your sanction file. Other than that, you need to show your site plan and services and details of your auxiliary structure. Okay. So basically, you need to show all these details, floor plans, plan of your different floors with the openings, windows, everything with dimensions like this. Okay, different floor plans and your elevation, then your section, and then you need to show the specifications. Here, the specifications are marked. Okay, then the foundation detail. In some cases, depending upon the secretary in the local authority who is giving your approval, they might ask for a detailed foundation drawing. In that case, you need to give a additional drawing which details of your foundation. Other than that, the important thing is your site plan, service plan, and the details of auxiliary structures, service structures within your site. So we can learn more about these two things in today's class. Okay. So basically, what all things will be there in a site plan? Again, down site plan. What all things will be there in a site plan? Hello, someone please respond.
Nearby roads.
Nearby roads, okay. Roads, then site vendor. First and foremost, you need to have the site drawing. Okay, whatever is adjacent to the site, roads, any other natural or man-made structures around the site, the adjacent site boundaries. Okay. Basically, first and foremost, you need to have the site plan. Okay. On a safer side, I'm just going for a rectangular site. Later on, if you have any doubt, we can check on what are the other rules or regulations or things that need to be taken care if you have any other shape of site. Okay. So basically, you have the site there, and this site plan need to be shown in a particular way. Dash dot. That need to be the notation for your boundary, site boundary. Okay, this is the thing. Dash dot. So the entire site should be shown in that way. Dash dot dash dot like this. This line need not be shown. Guidance preference like it should be shown like this. Okay. So your site is ready. Next thing, as you said, we need to have the adjacent features of the site. The first one will be your road. Okay. Just consider you have a road like this. Once you mark your road, next thing is mention the detail of the road. Maybe you will be having a name for the road. For example, Canal Road, maybe. Okay. You need to name the road, Canal Road. And the width of the road, 3 meters wide road. These details should be marked. Once you mark any adjacent structure or adjacent things around your site, give the specification. It is a canal. This name of that road. It is the Canal Road, with along with the dimension or size of the road. It is a 3 meters wide road, which is named as Canal Road. Okay. Other than that, maybe if a small canal is going in this direction, that is why it is known as Canal Road. Okay. Canal is going adjacent to your plot. Mark that. And mention that it is a canal. And if you have any name for that canal, name that also. Okay. For example, maybe Perundur Canal. That name of the canal can be named. So with this, the basic thing about your site is done. Other than that, you have 2 more sites for your site, isn't it? You need to mark the detail in that side also. Maybe I have a residential building adjacent to my plot on this side. Mention that. Residence of Mr. So and so. Okay. And if there is another site here and the building is here, or maybe it is a vacant plot, you can just write a vacant plot. And if possible, if you can collect the survey number of this vacant plot, just mention that also. These things should be there. Okay. So your site is, your raw site is ready. And into that site, for making it a site plan, you need to add your building footprint. So where are you going to position your building? That should be marked clearly. This position is also important. From this boundary line where you keep this side of your building, and from this boundary line, where are you going to fix your front side? As this is the road, obviously this will be the front side of your building. It is not necessary that you need to give the front side here. You can give it anywhere, but then in a usual process, like usually we will give just adjacent to the main road, isn't it? So your road is going to come, road is coming here, and your entry will be going from here. So how much distance you need to keep it? All these things are there in your building code. With that rules, you are going to keep your building in your plot. Okay. What are the rules regarding the setback for a residential building? Not only for residential building, for each occupancy you have particular rules. I'm just going to explain one category here. It's a residential category. In this revised category of building rules, you need to provide a minimum of 3 meters as your front side. So this should be minimum 3, it can be 4 or 5 or whatever it is, but then minimum 3 meters should be there from the abutting roadside to your building line. Similar way, you need to have this is minimum. I'm not giving 3 meters, but then minimum 3 meters. Maximum can be anything. And these 2 are your sides. Not 2, actually these 3 are your sides. Within these 3 sides, one should be your rear side, and other 2 can be just side 1 and side 2. Usually, in a usual practice, for KMPR or KPBR in our local authority, whichever is the side where the kitchen door opens. Okay, kitchen work area door opens, that will be considered as your rear side. You can consider that as your rear side. It is not mandatory. Okay. So I'm considering maybe this as your rear side. Okay. My kitchen is here, and my work area door is going to open here. I'm selecting this particular side because I want you to know that it is not necessary that the opposite side of the front side should be rear. Rule. There is no rule like that side just opposite to your front should be the rear. There is no rule like that. Whichever side you want, you can take it as your rear side. Preferably the side where your kitchen door opens. So this is your rear side. Okay. For a rear side, you have the rule of minimum setback here. Okay. What will be the minimum setback for a rear side? Will it be greater than 3 meters? That is the front yard. Will it be bigger than the front yard or lesser than front yard? The rear side. Any guess?
Greater.
Greater. Not from this particular drawing, but then maybe in the rule. Will it be greater than the drawing? I mean, greater than the front side or lesser than the front side? As per the revised, like recently the rule has been revised. As per the revised one, it is 1.5 meters minimum. All these are minimum dimensions. You can give more than that. This should be minimum 1.5. It is less than the front side. Basically, the maximum open space should be in the front side of your building, which is the 3 meters. Minimum 3 meters should be there. and that is the maximum requirement. And on your rear side, you can have 1.5 minimum, 1.5 meters, and on other two sides. Or maybe if your plot was having another one more side, like if your plot was like this, you have one more side here, isn't it? This is an additional side coming in. In that case, from this boundary also, you need to have that minimum which is prescribed for the other side boundaries. What is it? Other side boundaries here, it is 1 meter. So basically, you need to check the 3 dimension. From the front side, it should be minimum 3 meters. Whichever side you are selecting as the rear side, it should be 1.5 meters minimum. And from all other sides, it need to be minimum 1 meter. Okay. If you have more than 4 sides for your plot, if it is not a proper rectangular plot, one side can be fixed as your front side where the main entry happens. The other one side you can fix as the rear side, and all other sides can have minimum is 1 meter. Okay. And I forgot to tell you one thing. From your road abutting side, you need to show the entry also. Wherever you're going to place your gate, you need to show that also. In your site. So you have the site boundary like this. There you need to show the gate also. I'm going to position the gate here. You just need to show that. Okay. If you are going to place your gate here, if you are going to place your gate here at this corner, you can show it here. Wherever you are going to place your gate, you can show that entry. Okay. So basically, within the site plan, in the site plan, basically you need to show your roads, whatever adjacent features, the roads, the adjacent features that is coming, then the proposed building plan. Usually, the roof plan will be kept. Okay, proposed building footprint and the setbacks from all the side boundaries. All the setbacks from all the side boundaries should be shown. If it is more than 1, what will be like, let it be 1.75 meters. You can show that 1.75 meters. The actual should be shown, but then mark the minimums here. Okay. These are just the minimum. What is actually there in the site, that should be marked. It will be clear once I show you a proper sanction drawing. Okay. And the adjacent properties. If it is a residence, that can be given. And for a more accurate thing, you can just give the residential number also. Like this, this way we have given the survey number. This is not mandatory. In some cases, they won't be willing to share you with the, if the adjacent property owner is not willing to share you with the survey number or the residential number, it's okay, leave it. But then you can just mark it as the residence of Mr. Whatever. Okay. So that is all about your site plan. Just quickly brush through the details of the site plan. Okay. Clear all options. Sorry. So this was a site plan prepared for a small residential building. It is a single story. Okay. That's clear. Hello. Somebody was asking something. Okay. This particular drawing is a combined drawing of site and service plan. So you could see a few things that we haven't discussed already. It will be there that we are going to discuss in the next session. Okay. I think I can open the AutoCAD drawing so that it is more clear and I can zoom in into further details. One second. Is it clear so far? Do you have any doubts in between? Hello,
It's clear, ma'am.
all clear.
Yes, ma'am.
മാം വൺ ഡൗട്ട് സൈറ്റ്
Okay.
പ്ലാൻ വരയ്ക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നോർത്ത് സൈഡ് കാണിക്കണോ അത് മാൻഡേറ്ററി ആണോ?
Yeah, you need to show the note that I'll tell you. Okay. I'm going to share the, not only in site plan, whatever drawings you are submitting for the sanction, as well as maybe you are giving the drawings for the site also, you need to show the north direction. Cardinal direction should be clear in your drawings. Okay. This is a site plan. Okay. I forgot to show the north direction in your site plan because I copied it from here and it is given in the format of the sheet. That is also fine. It is not necessary that you should show along with the drawing, but then for the entire drawing, you can show the north. Okay, but then it is mandatory. Somewhere in the sheet, the north direction should be there. And preferably, the north should go up of your sheet. You can align your building in that way, in your sheet. Okay. So this is the plan that I was showing. Again, you can see here. This is the boundary line, boundary marking. Okay, 493 is the setback here. Setback from the plot boundary. This is the road, which is the 3-meter wide road, and from that road you have 493 centimeters to your building. And see, this is the roof plan that I have shown in the drawing. Okay, the roof in the edge in the barana. This is the roof edge. But then you need to show the setback from your building boundary. Foundation from that boundary, you need to show the setbacks. This is the foundation boundary, and from there, you need to show the this is the site, building boundary, and to take the building boundary, what is the dimension from your site that need to be shown. See here, the site is like declining towards this side, so that the dimension is also getting less. And see, at this point it is 493 centimeters, and here it is 343 centimeters. Here is 3, then here again it is 551. So the minimum is 3 meters. In that way, if you have particular shape of your site, or maybe if your building is not a simple, not having a single line at the front side or on the side, the minimum distance towards the plot should be the minimum prescribed in your rules. This building was done a few years back, 1 or 2 years back. That time, the minimum setback rule was different, and it was 150. That is why I have given 156 here. See, again, it is shown to the building boundary and not the overhang boundary. You can have the overhang beyond your building line. Building line and overhang line. Are you clear about the building line and overhang line? Anyone? Building line is your wall lines, and overhang line is similar to the protrudence of your shade. Here, as it is a sloping building, a sloping roof, you have the overhang beyond your building wall line, and in some cases, this will be your shades. Okay. Here you have the windows, and in some cases, you might be having shades like this. That is different case. If you have the shade like this, again, you need to take the measurement from this building line only. This line only, you need to take the measurement. From this line only, you need to take the measurement. Building line is the matra measurements. Okay. So in this, I'm shown the adjacent road. This is 3 meters wide road. I don't have a name for this road. This is a small road just leading to 3 plots here. So I've just mentioned it as a 3 meter wide road. Okay. And just opposite to that, you have a residence, and you can mention the house number as well as the name of the owner there. And on all other 3 sets, there are vacant plots. So it is just marked as vacant plots. And in a few cases, if you can get a hold of the survey number, you can show the survey number also. Okay. Other than that, all the dimensions towards your side boundary should be shown. In addition to this side boundaries, few more things also you need to show. Here you can see the building dimension also should be shown. End-to-end dimensions. Okay. This building dimensions also need to be marked. Okay. It is shown here, but as this is very small, it's not clear. All the building, not the overhang, but the clear building dimensions need to be shown. Okay, basically, these are the things that should be shown in a site plan of a small building. The site should be there with the cardinal direction. Then your roads or any other subsidiary things like canals or maybe bridge or something happening just adjacent to your plot. Then the adjacent plot details. Then your building footprint or the roof plan. With dimensions. I forgot to tell you that with dimensions. This dimension should be shown. Okay. Then place it appropriately so that you abide with the roles. Then show the dimensions from the boundary. Then show the access to the plot. Gate I ask you to show the gate, and it is known as the access. I haven't shown it here. It needs to be shown like this. The gate should be shown. The access to the plot, and you can mark it as the entry. Okay. So by this, the things that is mandatory for a site plan is covered. Hope it is clear what are things to be shown for a site plan. Ma'am, do we need to take a break or can we continue?
It's okay, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay. Right now we discussed about a small residential building. Okay. Just to have an insight about how it happens for a high-rise building, I'm showing this plan. This is not clear. I will open the AutoCAD drawing for that. Okay. See, is it clear now? This is again a site plan for an apartment structure. Okay. Other than your residential building, small residence, you need to show the parking spaces. And for residential, for apartment or maybe any high-rise building like offices or educational institution, there are more things that is mandatory for a building to get approved. Likewise, here you have a loading and unloading bay. You will get a clear idea once you read the KMPR completely or the rule books completely. Then you will get an idea that you have loads of other names associated with the permission. A sanctioning process. Okay, here you can see it is known as the KK road. So I have marked the road dimensions here and mentioned the name here, KK road. Likewise, like you have shown the entry to the site and whatever is happening in and around your site. That is also shown, like the parking spaces. And this loading and unloading bay is mandatory for high-rise buildings. So I have shown that also. Then the parking numbers. This is for the case of a high-rise building. Here the setback is different. That minimum 3 meters was for the residential building, but then rule keeps on changing for different occupancy. I'm showing this so that you get an idea that the rule is not same for all the category of building. Okay. As the height increases, you need to increase the setback into the site also. Like, in the previous drawing, we gave 3 meters as the minimum setback. But then as this is a high-rise structure, you need to have more vacant space in front of your building as well as on your sides. That is why I've given 15 meters here. 1429 is almost equal to 15 meters. So depending upon the height of the building and many other factors, the rule changes. Okay. So you have shown the driveway, this way the vehicle or whatever comes in goes, and you have the ramps. Usually for a small residential building, we won't have these things, but then for a high-rise building like this, we have the ramp, so that if you have a ramp, you need to show that ramp also. And another mandatory thing for a high-rise building is the recreational space, especially for the residential building. So you need to show that recreational space. I have mentioned 170 m square. What is it? It is not just that you need to give a recreational area, but then depending upon the total floor area of the building, you need to have certain amount of recreational area. Okay, as the area of the building increases, you need to give more recreational area, or if it is lesser size building, you can reduce the area. So all these things are there in the rules. Depending on the rules only, we can provide these things. So you need to have a grip on the rule book and what is the mandatory open space required, or maybe what is the mandatory number of parking required. All this can be calculated from your rule book. Here I have mentioned loading and unloading bay. From where you get this 30.28 m square? Again, this is there in your KMBR or KPBR. So you need to refer those things for giving the like finalizing the required area for different mandatory things that has to be there in your sanction drawing. Not only sanction drawing, you are supposed to provide these things in your building when you construct it. Only then you will get the permission to occupy. See, you have the rainwater harvesting tank. Again, you have the capacity. Again, this capacity is prescribed in your rule books, depending upon the size of your building. Another insert I will show you. See, like this, the description. front setback is minimum 3 meters, and depending upon your increased height, you need to increase the setbacks accordingly. Then what is provided? Provided can be higher than the minimum requirement always. So for the parking calculation. So and it is not like feasible for me to explain each and every rules. Similar way, like we have the setback rules here, as well as I explained about the rule of selecting the size of the rainwater harvesting tank. Similarly, the amount of recreational space that will be provided for a high-rise building. All these things are prescribed in the rule book. So whenever you are going to design a particular structure, you need to check all the rules pertaining to that occupancy. If it is a small residential building, you can check all the rules and regulations pertaining to that small residential building. Okay. So this is a kind of a sanction drawing that is done for a high-rise building, and we can concentrate on the just on your site plan. Okay. So you have the site boundaries. The dimension of the site boundaries is given. You have the building footprint, and it has to be hatched. You need to write it as the proposed building and the setbacks from the boundary. See, 12.66 meters is away from the site boundary. Okay. I think by this you're clear about the site planning. Then next part is your service plan. Service plan is very much similar to your site plan. Whatever things that we discussed already will be there in your service plan, like your site boundary. Site boundary, and for the easier, I'm just drawing it as a continuous line. But then you need to show the site plan and site boundary as dashed dot line. Okay, this should be the notation for your site boundary. Then your road will be there, or the access road will be shown. Your entry to the site will be shown. Then the dimension of the site. Then your building coming within your site. All these things are there as we discussed in your site plan. The adjacent plot details, all these things to be shown. Other than this, we need to show few other things in your service plan. What are these things? One is your waste disposal system. Okay. What are the waste disposal system that we need in our building for a residential building? Can you just say? For a small residence, what all kind of waste disposal system is required? And waste disposal vendor. Hello, can you hear me?
Students, students,
Okay.
please respond.
Building plan. Waste disposal system that we use in our residences. In your residence, maybe. Yeah, waste disposal system. Okay. In my home, it is septic tank. Okay. Other than the septic tank, we have a soft pit. These are the basic waste disposal system that you can see in a small residence. Other than that, we need to show few other more things in your service plan. That is the water system. Like all the services basically. The plumbing services here, you have the septic tank, socket, then the water supply and water drainage here, water supply system. Then what else? Related to water, you need to show the rainwater harvesting, which is a mandatory thing in our KMBR and KPBR. Then electrical service. For a residence, we don't have much to show in an electrical site. You just need to show that what the electrical post is coming adjacent to your plot and how we are going to take the line into your building. Because that is like required, or that is enough. But then for a bigger building, or maybe a building of bigger area like an apartment or maybe an office building of a few number of floors, a pretty number of floors, if it is like that, you need to provide separate structure, separate service building for the electrical services. You will be having panel room and everything. In some cases, you will be having transformer and something. All these things to be shown in your service plan. But then in your syllabus, you need to concentrate just on a small building. So, but then please understand that these all things comes under your electrical service. This like transformer, generator, all these things. Other than water supply, rainwater, electrical. These are the basic things that you need to show in your service plan. Okay. So where are you going to stay? Keep your septic tank and choke pit. That is again important, and that need to be shown in your service plan. Okay. So before positioning your septic tank, you need to check the wells or the water supply or water sources in and around your site. What are the water sources? Coming inside your site as well as around your site, because the moment you place a septic tank and soak pit, if you are placing a septic tank and soak pit here, you are going to have an outflow of wastewater into the groundwater system, or maybe into the ground, so that it doesn't contaminate the adjacent wells. That is the basic concept. Okay, I'm not going into deep about the technical aspects of the water draining from the socket or anything, but then basically the rule book checks about this thing, that the septic tank doesn't contaminate the water sources in your plot as well as in adjacent. That is important. Okay. It is not that you need to check within your site only, but then you need to check around your site also. Drinking water is a basic amenity that is like a basic right of every citizen, and you can't contaminate that of your adjacent plot. Okay, if you have a well here in your adjacent plot, if they have a well at this place, you can't keep your septic or soak pit at a distance 7 meters. There is 7 meters circle. You can't keep any septic tank or soak pit. Okay. This is the case of a small residence. We have a septic tank and soak pit. For high-rise building, we'll be having the STP or bigger treatment plants. Then the drain outs shouldn't be coming in vicinity of adjacent plots water sources. Not only well, borewells will be there. Maybe if you have a river or some kind of a water body nearby, you can't just send the like wastewater drain into that area. Okay. This minimum 7 meter will change depending upon the water sources. For a well, it is 7 meter. If it is a bigger water body, the minimum distance from that water body keeps on changes. And again, that will be described in your KMBR. KMBR basically well matra, but then you have other rules like CRZ and everything for your water bodies and everything. Previous slide when we discussed, I told you, like depending upon the site location, we have some other regulating authority to be taken care of. Regulating authority on CRZ. Like you need to get the clearance from the airport authority if your plot is very near to the airport. Similar way, if the plot is very near to your water body like a lake or a river or something, you need to take a concerned approval from that concerned department. DCR, river or irrigation or canal. If it is a canal, you need to take it from the irrigation. So basically, for a residential building, for a small residential, think of an ideal situation. You just have few residences around. You only need to check the wells or bore wells coming around your plot as well as your neighboring plots. Keep it away of minimum 7 meters. And for sure, the approval authority will come and check that whether your septic tank or your soffit output is like the water out from your soffit is minimum 7 meters away from the adjacent well. The well can be there within your plot as well as your neighboring plot. Okay, is that clear? So we kept your building. The capacity of the septic tank can be depending upon the users. Okay. And a basic layout in a I'll show you a basic layout of the septic tank and soffit. But then the design of the septic tank or maybe the design of the size of the septic tank, both can be upon the use. This is a septic tank. For a high-rise building or maybe where more waste need to be treated, it can be an STP, sewage treatment plant. Have you seen the STP of our campus? നമ്മുടെ ക്യാമ്പസിൽ STP കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Arya, have you seen our campus STP? Arya, you there?
No, ma'am.
Kannadilla. Okay. Is there someone who stayed at Golden Jubilee Hostel? I think it is not Golden Jubilee. I think it is beyond that C block or somewhere. Side of STP. I forgot the location, but then I have seen that. So whenever you are back in campus, you can go to that particular place and see how the STP works there. I do have a very poor memory. I'm so sorry. It is ma'am. Can you just help me? Someone? Anu ma'am, have you seen? Or maybe after the class, I will just let your faculty know that where the situates. Golden Jubilee the back or maybe behind the C block somewhere the STP is situated and it is working. You can go and see the working of that sewage treatment plant. Okay. So these are the things that need to be shown in your service plan. I just explained about your STP septic tank. The next thing that to be shown in your service plan is your basic. Your building. your septic tank. Maximum away from your septic tank, you can have your rainwater harvesting tank. And when you keep this rainwater harvesting, usually this rainwater harvesting tank will be RCC structure, and the seepage will be less. There won't be any seepage practically, I mean theoretically. But then ideally keep it away from the septic tank of your plot and adjacent plots. And if you have a sump water sump, if you have the drinking water facility from your corporation water, you can keep the sump also away from the septic tank of your plot as well as your adjacent plot. So you need to show the septic tank that we showed. Then your rainwater harvesting tank. This is the rainwater harvesting tank. Again, what is the capacity of the rainwater harvesting tank? You just check the rule number 76 in your KMPR. It prescribes the required size of rainwater harvesting tank that need to be provided for each occupancy. Rule number 76 in your KMPR. It is there. What should be the size of the rainwater harvesting collection tank for any building? For like on different occupancies, you need to have different size rainwater harvesting tanks. For the area also, change in area also changes the capacity of the tank. For a bigger building, you need to have a bigger size tank. Okay, this capacity you can calculate from the rule book. Rule number 76 describes about the capacity of rainwater harvesting tank. Other than rainwater harvesting tank, this is not a mandatory thing, but then you can give a sump also. If you are giving a sump, you need to show that in your site plan. Otherwise, it's okay. If you're not providing a sump, you don't have to show that. Like, it is not a mandatory thing. But then, if you're providing a sump for your particular building, you need to show that in the service plan. And the capacity also. The capacity should be shown for the rainwater harvesting tank. As well as the sump, you need to show the capacity. Okay. So water supply we showed. Okay, water supply, we have the rainwater tank is there. And if you are utilizing this rainwater harvesting, like water for some other purposes, you can show that also. Then the connection to all these things. You have a septic tank here. And if your toilets are coming here, you need to show the connection line. It need not be the actual path where the actual lines are going, but then the connection to the tank should be shown. Maybe it will be going below the building also. That is not an issue. You can just show the connection to the septic tank. It is just an operation that the building toilet is connected to the tank. Just that. So just showing that we need to show a connection line to the septic tank. Similar way, the rainwater harvesting tank. The rainwater harvesting is like the water is collected from the roof runoff. Like roof collected the rainwater tank plus store. So from the terrace, how are you going to take down the pipes? If you have a slope towards this side for your flat roof, just show the slope on your terrace plan and show the collection point so that you can show the connection into your rainwater tank. Okay. Similar way, if you have a sump and you are going to take the water from the sump to your overhead tank, just show a connection to that point. All these connection points should be shown. Another thing, have the sump here. From where you are going to fill the sump? You are going to fill the sump from the drinking water line, which is going through the road. Line. This drinking water line is just going below your road. Just show a connection to your sump. So that it is understood that you are taking drinking water into your sump from the KWA and mention that it is a KWA. Okay. In some other case, if you don't have this KWA line and you have a well here. Okay, so in that scenario, you don't have a sump or KWA or anything. You just have a well here. Show the well. And from the well, you are going to pump that into your building. Show that. Whatever the water source, show that. If it is a sump and KWA, you can mark these things. And if it is a well, mark the well and show the connection into your building. Other service that you have to show is the electrical. So just show the post, electrical post very close to your plot. It can be here or here, wherever the plot is, mark that electrical post and just show a line that is taken into your building. Maybe if this post is saturated and you can't take the line from that post, the authority may ask you to put another electrical post here and you need to take it from here. Let it be. But then at the time of approval process or sanctioning process, wherever the electric post is there, you can just show it from that particular post and the connection to your building. These are the basic things that need to be shown in your service plan. And another thing, there are few colors that need to be followed, color coding that need to be followed for all these lines. Lines of electrical line is there, then freshwater line is there, wastewater line is there. For all these things, few color codes are there. You need to check that from the rule book. Okay, I'll be sharing the rule book. That will be there in your exercise in the starting. Sinama was mentioning about 2 exercises, and in the first one, the MCQ, we have few questions regarding this color codes and the capacity of these tanks, sums, etc. All this will come so that you can check that from your rule book. The color coding for the lines to be shown, the capacity of tanks or sums that will be used. Sums in the capacity of prescribed that you can decide with your water consultant. Rainwater harvesting tank have prescribed capacity in your room. Okay. Service plan. Again, as someone mentioned before, you need to show the note, cardinal direction, wherever the note is coming, you need to show it. So, apart from the site plan that we discussed before, along with the site plan, show the septic tank, the rainwater harvesting tank, the water supply details, whether it is from a well or whether it is from the Kerala Water Authority line into a somewhere into the building, or maybe directly from the KWA into the building. Whatever it is, show that in the electrical services. These 4 main services should be shown in your building, a residential building. Again, I'm stressing on that part. It is a residential building. Other than residential building, if it is some other occupancy like education institution or maybe a medical facility, the services are n numbers of services. Okay. Medical facility, obviously you need the STP, incinerator should be there. Incinerator should be there. Then firefighting services in a detail should be shown. Firefighting. Then wet and dry garbage store should be shown. N number. But just understood that this is not the end of services like septic tank or rainwater harvesting tank, water supply and electrical. These 4 can be shown in your residential sanctioning, but this is not the end. You have a list of services waiting for you if you are dealing with a bigger size building. Okay. അപ്പം ഇത്രയും പറഞ്ഞതിൽ നിന്ന് നമുക്കൊരു typical drawing for a septic tank, the auxiliary structures. All these things can be named as auxiliary structures. The auxiliary structures in the basic drawings. These are just basic drawings. Can you see the septic tank drawing? STP I'm not explaining. It's so confusing. I got this from a consultant. Usually if you have STP or maybe that kind of a bigger incinerator treatments like STP is for a different purpose, incinerator is for a different purpose. പക്ഷേ ഇതുപോലുള്ള high-end services, waste disposal services ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ definitely you will have a consultant for that and they will give you the detailed drawing. Our consultants എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴേക്കും നിങ്ങളുടെ തന്നെ സ്പെഷ്യൽ, you are from the civil engineering background, isn't it? So from the civil engineering side only, we have lots of specializations coming in. From your masters also you can do, like the plumbing specialization is MEP varum, mechanical, electrical and plumbing specializations varum. They will provide you with the drawings which is required for the particular building and the capacity use specific drawing you will receive from your consultant. Maybe at some time you will be the consultant also. So we can just leave the STP, but then the soft pit. This is a basic drawing of a soft pit. You have the rectangular rectangular shape tank, which is having two barriers in between. I think a few of your faculty will be little more expertise in this and very basic. I just know very basics about this thing. Okay, so you have these two kind of baffle slabs in between, so that you have the inlet here. Whatever inlet is coming in, it's once it is overflowed, it will overflow into the soft pit, and from the soft pit you have the bottom clear soft pit, so that it disperses into the ground. This outlet from your septic tank is connected to a small soft pit, and whatever water is coming into the soft pit is supposed to be clear water without any like bacteria or anything. All these things need to be left behind in your septic tank. If your septic tank is designed properly, it will happen like that. Okay. So the basic soft pit in the septic tank in the detail. And apart from the soft pit, along with the septic tank, you can provide different soft pits also, additional soft pits in your site. Okay. If you have a little more bigger residence, like a 3,000, 4,000 square feet building, in that case, your toilets or maybe your water outlets, used wastewater outlets are replaced at different points of your building. The wastewater from your kitchen is taken to one part of your building, one part of your site. In that area, you can provide a soft pit, because only wastewater from the cleaning water is coming out from your kitchen. You can directly connect to that to a small soft pit and treat it, and just like have the outlet into your ground. Similar way, if you have another wash machine or maybe a set of toilets at another corner of your building, again only the wastewater, not the solid waste, only the wastewater can be connected to a soft pit nearer to that area. Other than that, the solid waste, all the solid waste should be connected to your septic tank. And a mandatory soft pit should be placed adjacent to your septic tank also, so that the effluent from like whatever outflow from your septic tank is there, it will go into the soft pit. Yeah. That is about the septic tank, and this is a typical drawing of a STP. If you are doing a bigger structure, you can do the detail of the septic tank, STP also. The കൂടാതെ auxiliary ആയിട്ട് വരുന്നതാണ് is your rainwater harvesting tank. This is your rainwater harvesting tank. Again, here the capacity is 5,000 liters. The capacity in the volume just take the volume and give a freeboard above. Maybe 30 centimeters can be of freeboard or something. Beyond this 30 centimeters, if you can just take this volume, if that volume can accommodate 5,000 liters, then it is fine. And this 5,000 liters, whatever the liters is, you need to calculate it from your KMBR. I think it is 25 liters minimum for 1 m square or something like that. 10 m square or something like that. We can check the KMBR for that. 76, rule number 76. Okay. Or a typical tank, it's just a concrete rectangular tank. And capacity in height, everything you can decide. If you have a smaller plot and like you don't have much space for a wider tank, you can have a deeper tank for the rainwater harvesting. Otherwise, if you have lots of space in your plot, you can have a bigger bigger plan for your thing, like the rainwater tank with a lesser depth. It depends. The entire volume should be enough for having the capacity, and that is prescribed by KM. Other than these things, in some cases we can show the compound wall detail also. Compound wall detail important is your existing street level, proposed ground level. These two things are important, and how you are placing your foundation depending upon these two. In some cases, the proposed ground level is fleshed with your foundation level. Yeah, in some cases it can be like this. This is your proposed level, so that you have a foundation coming above your proposed ground level. Depends. But what are you going to implement in your site? Show those details. And the specification of the compound wall, whether it is a brick wall or maybe some other material or something. And the heights. So with that, we came to an end about your site plan also, like what all things that we need to add in a site plan. Is that clear? The completed site plan over you can't start. So that will be more clear. Can you see? Can you see the screen sharing?
Yes, yes.
So there's a small residence again, which shows the site and service. Residence of commercial, yes, small residence account, it is fine that you can show both the site and service in single plan. So this is kind of that. This is the site and service plan. And like a concept in here, you have the site boundaries, site shown in dash dot lines. All the dimension of the sites are shown. The building footprint is shown. You need to show the building dimension also. That is missing in this, but then you need to show the building dimension. Okay. Then adjacent property details are there. Then the parking, the entry to the site. So depending on your, like, as per your site plan, you have all these details. And coming to your services, you have the septic tank and soft pit shown here. Okay. Septic tank and soft pit. Here we have given only one soft pit for all the purpose of all these toilets and everything. It is okay. Otherwise, if you want to give another soffit here for the toilets coming here, you can add that. It is fine. But then show the connection into the building. See. You have the septic tank and the soft pitch. One line is directly connected into the soft pitch, isn't it? This one line is directly connected into the soft pitch. So we can assume that that is the waste water. See, and a notation kando. Ee notation കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ? Can you see the notation? Just dash, 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 dash. That notation shows the waste water. Okay. That waste water is connected directly into the soft pitch. But then, see, this notation is something different. Line, a circle, a line, a circle, a line, a circle. Okay. That is connected into the septic tank. From the building, you are taking it out. You're taking it out and it is connected into the septic tank. The notation of that is this one. Okay. See, again, that is there in the legend, solid waste. Okay, or soil waste. Then the drinking water line is just a single line. You can see that from the well. That single line is connected into your kitchen area or maybe the water tank area. Okay. Then another one is your electrical line. Electrical line, you can see the electrical line going beyond your plot and a line is connected into your building from the electrical post. Okay, and you have the rainwater harvesting tank here. And again, some other notation for the rainwater line. And that line is taken from different parts of your roof into the rainwater tank. But you can show all the structures. Your well is there. Your well is there. Your rainwater harvesting tank is there. Your septic tank and soft pit is there. And your electrical line is there. That is connected to the building. And it is it is denoted using different notation. Okay. So this is one part of your service plan. Along with that, you need to show the detail, like the septic tank detail, the rainwater harvesting detail. If you don't need to show the well detail, but then if it is some in which the water is collected from the water authority or some other source, you can show the sum here or somewhere, and also the detail of the sum, the plan of the sum, and the section of the sum. Drawing is sum as we don't have any sum for this particular building, we are not showing that. We just have the septic tank and the rainwater harvesting tank. Otherwise, you can show that. Hope it is clear this much. Again, this is for a high-rise building, the services. High-rise building, I told you the soil waste treatment is through an STP. So you have the STP here shown in your plan, site plan, and the detail also. Other than that, you have the rainwater harvesting tank. You need to show that tank here in the site plan, service plan, and the detail in your sheet. Similar. And if you have a small septic tank, you can provide both STP and septic tank. Septic tank can be used for like few rooms or something. If you have that, you need to show that in the service plan as well as the detail. So this is all about your high-rise building. High-rise building detail just an insight what you need to expect. Okay. Notations only clear at the control. The rainwater notation. It is not mentioned anywhere. You can change this, but then it should be correct in the legend as well as the drawing. Okay. When you use a notation for septic line in the legend, that should be shown in your service plan. See. Here, this is the notation for your septic tank line to the septic tank or the STP. Here, the system is different. You have the septic tank, and from the septic tank, it is connected to the STP. So whatever wastewater system is suggested by your like consultants, you can use that. The high-rise building in the case residential it is almost septic tank. So you have the septic tank line. Same notation is used here. Then you have the rainwater line. It is denoted like this: dash, small dash, bigger dash. See, you have that connected to the rainwater tank, harvesting tank. Then you have another sump below. From the sump, you have the drinking water or water supply. See, that is having another notation. And the drainage line majorly have the normal wastewater that will be connected to, where is it? Sorry, I think it is not shown, but then you have to show that, yeah, you have the drainage line. This is only the surface drain. Whatever rainwater is coming on your surface, so that you have the drain connected to that. That is why it is connected to the external drain. Only the rainwater, the surface runoff rainwater is connected to the canal. Here you have the canal. Other than that, you can't connect the treatment water into the canal. That is against it. So I hope it is clear. Yeah, again, this is another small residence. You have the rainwater tank connected to the building. You have the septic tank and soak pit here. It is again connected to the septic tank and the soak pit. You have the electrical post, a line from the post going into the building. This is the water supply line, this yellow color one. And we have another connection from the water supply line to the building. In all the minimum you should show KWA line, rainwater line, electrical line, wastewater line. Clear? Do you have any doubts which we discussed today?
Clear, ma'am.
Clear or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you checked the KMBR at any time? Have you seen the book? KMBR കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Have you seen KMBR? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നോക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ ആരെങ്കിലും ഇതിനു മുമ്പ് ഒന്ന് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് സെർച്ച് ചെയ്തിട്ടോ? Hello, have you seen the KMBR before? ഞാൻ അസ്യൂം ചെയ്യാണ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലാന്നോ? സോ പറഞ്ഞോ ആരാണ്?
ആക്ച്വലി മാം ഇവര് കാണാൻ വഴിയില്ല, ബിക്കോസ് ഇവർക്ക് ആകെ നമുക്ക് നമുക്ക് ക്ലാസ് ടൈം കിട്ടിയിട്ടുള്ളത് വളരെ കുറച്ച് ക്ലാസ്സസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
Okay. We have that book, like printed books available in bookstores. But then the thing is, recently this keeps on changing. Amendments ഒരുപാട് വരാറുണ്ട്. So ഇപ്പം usually എല്ലാവരും PDF ആണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. For a reason, like once you have that book by, after few days that might get changed or that will get amended. So it is safe to have a copy, a PDF copy with you. Right now, I will just show you one, like 2019 KMBR. This is not a printed version, and this is prepared by a private person, a single private person upon his interest, and he has shared it with the amendments till 29/6/2021. Okay. So this is the Kerala Municipality Building Code 2019. This is the last, final one. Like the final published KMBR is on 2019. 2019 അവസാനമായിട്ടുള്ള KMBR ഇറങ്ങിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ you have amendments to that 2019 rule. Whenever you read the KMBR 2019, rule book in the pair അങ്ങനെയാണ് KMBR 2019. Whenever you read that KMBR 2019, you need to check for the amendments that is done to that. You need to read along with that. അതുകൂടി ഒരുമിച്ച് വായിച്ചാൽ മാത്രമാണ് പറ്റുക. Okay. അതിനകത്ത് this is that preface from the author who has compiled this one. ഇതൊരു printed version ആയിട്ട് ഇറങ്ങിയതല്ല. By his own interest, he has compiled the amendments. That's it. Okay. So you have different, all these are there in the KMBR. You have different chapters. Chapter 1 will deal with the definitions. Chapter 2 with the drawings, permits, and occupancy of the all the certificates and other rules. You have the chapter 3. Again, when I told you, like for the easiness of teaching you, I have selected the easiest site, rectangular site. Other than rectangular site, you will come up with different shapes of site, very small sites, all these things, so that you have special provisions for some kind of special sites. That is also mentioned in your KMBR. And for different occupancies. Again, I was mentioning about occupancies, isn't it? Like educational, institutional, and occupancies in the agenda. Different occupancies, different changes. Depending upon the occupancies, the rules changes. Keep on changes. Other rules are there in your chapter 4 occupancy. And this explains different parts. Again, within different parts, they will explain it for different occupancy. This also will differ from different occupancies. If you have a smaller plot, you have relaxation, lots of relaxations when you consider construction in a smaller plot. ഇതിനകത്ത് KMBR എല്ലാ ലൂപ്പ് ഹോൾസും എല്ലാം ഇതിൽ പറയുന്നുണ്ട് എന്താണെന്നുള്ളത്. If you want to actually, if you want a wall or a fence, for that also you need to take a permission. Here, this is the rules for the wells and rainwater harvesting. Again, in this portion, they will explain about the size of the rainwater tank or the capacity required for the tank. Again, in this chapter, this deals with the solar assisted water heating. It is not that mandatory, but in these days it has to be there, isn't it? Under descriptions, for residential it is not mandatory. Then the waste management from overall sections. This category you don't need to see right now, but then in the actual practice you need to come up with these things also, like high-rise building. Whatever rules prescribed for any particular occupancy should be there. In addition to that, if your building comes under the high-rise category, you need to abide to the rules which is mentioned in this chapter also. Okay. Then this is not for the building, but then for the communication, telecommunication towers, if you are designing that, what all things to be addressed or checked will be mentioned here. Then these are the actions that you may have to face if you go for an unauthorized construction. Constructions rules violate. If you violate any rules, what will be the actions that you need to face? So this is the contents of the KMPR. The rule check I'll just show you one or two things how you can check the rules. First and foremost, you will be clear about what your occupancy is. അതിനു മുമ്പ് ഈ ഫസ്റ്റ് ചാപ്റ്റർ എല്ലാം വായിക്കണം നിങ്ങളൊരു പതുക്കെ സമയം കിട്ടുന്നതനുസരിച്ച് you need to read all these chapters so that you will get an idea what about the terminologies, like what do you mean by balcony. Usually we mention balcony towards for lots of things in the building. We name it as balcony or a veranda or something like that. But then as per KMPR, actually what is balcony or what is veranda? That you will get a clear idea when you read these things. The definitions of bathroom, toilet, toilet minimum. Okay, all these things you will get a clear idea. Layman usual practice use terms KMPR prescribing terms will be different. That you need to check. What is a cul-de-sac? Cul-de-sac is a question. Which cul-de-sac is a street which is having a dead end. Buildings floats survey. The road which serves to a very small group of sites, very small group of buildings known as cul-de-sac. It won't have that much length usually. It can have length, but then usually it will be very shorter length, which is having a dead end. It's known as a cul-de-sac. It never goes and attached to another road or anything. It will have a dead end towards a plot or a building or something. Okay. Terminologies you can have an idea from this one chapter. I suggest you have a clear idea. Even if you can't by heart, you just go through that so that you know that it is mentioned somewhere. You can come back and check. You go through the terminologies, and this explains about the essentiality of getting a permit and everything. That is there. Again, the responsibility of each and every person, the client, the engineer, and everyone's responsibility also mentioned. When you check the building rule, I think you can start from here. I think it's beyond 2 hours. I'll just briefly explain this and stop it here. Okay, so what occupancy is residential occupancy. Usually so residential occupancy. Other than that, you have group J. Occupancy first you need to check the occupancy, the group A. If it is a residential, it is coming under group A1. Now you need to check the rules for group A1. All the rules pertaining to group A1. If you have an office building or a design, it is group E. In that case, you need to check the rules for group E. The first step, you understand in which group your occupancy is coming in. After that, all the rules related to that group can be checked. When the first checking maybe the exterior and interior open spaces. I'll check as we said earlier, if it is for an office space is E. buildings in group B, C, and E up to 200 m square. You just check the criteria. If it is up to 200 m square, you can check the setbacks, open spaces in this table. 5 meters in front minimum, rear unit 2 meters minimum, and all the sides 2 meters minimum. നമ്മൾ എപ്പോഴും വരുന്നത് A1 ആണ് അല്ലെ. A1 ആവുമ്പോഴേക്ക് ഫ്രണ്ട് it is 3 meters, rear 1.5 meters, and sides 1 meter. Okay, all these are up to 200 square meter. If it is beyond 200 square meter, the rule will change. Exceeding, this is also not exceeding 200 square meter. അങ്ങനെ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്ത് പോവാം. Okay, this is the exceeding 200. Yes, not exceeding. Yeah, yeah. Here comes for different occupancies when it is exceeding that particular area, or which comes under 200 to 500 m square ആണെങ്കിൽ ഏതാണ് rules വരുന്നത്. Similar way, the rules are there for every things, like number of parking, everything there will be mentioned. The access width. Access width it is mentioned. Single unit aanengil you don't have any minimum, but then multiple units of building, an apartment building aanengil you need to have minimum access width. ഇത്രയും ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ പഠിക്കാൻ നടക്കില്ല. This is for the parking facility. Okay, I will share this PDF also. You can just go through that. Okay. For and we have an exercise also. MCQ questions in that share and teacher site. And other than that, you can prepare a service plan. The service plan and site plan ഒക്കെ നമ്മൾ പഠിച്ചു. ഒരു simple അല്ല, 2-story building ആണ്. 2-story residential building ന്റെ given details വെച്ചിട്ട് you can prepare a service plan. Site dimensions I will give. Proposed building in the footprint and area I will give. You need to position the building or the footprint in the given site as per the rule prescribed in the rule book. Rule number 26. You can check the rule number 26. Oh, I'm sorry, you are not viewing the PPT. I was drawing here and you will see. So you need to prepare a service plan for a 2-story building. This I'll give. These 2 things I'll give. And you have what you have to do is you need to position the building footprint in a given site as per rule number 26. And the position ചെയ്യണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ you need to fix the setbacks. Minimum setbacks you need to fix them. For that you can check the rule number 26. What is the rule pertaining for a small residential building? Then you can draw the septic tank detail for a standard residential building, then a rainwater harvesting tank. But then you need to find the capacity so that you can check this road. Then in the service plan, just mark all these things: electrical, water supply, wastewater, rainwater harvesting, etc. And this is your site plan. This is your site plan, the dimensions, and this will be the footprint of your building. Easy. Just outer line മാത്രം വരച്ചാൽ മതി. അപ്പം you need to place this inside. The scale വ്യത്യാസമുണ്ട്, that is why this is bigger than your site. But then when you draw in actuals to this dimension, it will be smaller. Okay, so you need to redraw this into the site. Dimensions വെച്ചിട്ട് you can just take this into the site. Okay, so another the site like convert you need to check with this minimum setbacks. You can check those minimum setbacks and take this into the site and position your services, your septic tank position cheyyanam. Rainwater harvesting tank you can position. Then show the water lines. Show the electrical lines. You can assume whatever the water supply system, you can assume the electrical post positions. You can assume the septic tank position. Like you can assume that there is no well coming around the site. And if you have the water lines, it is up to you. You can have a well inside your site, or you can take it from the outer water line, drinking water line that is going through the road. That is what you are supposed to do. Is that clear, your exercise? In the site plan and the building plan and building in a footprint and actuals this is 15.3 meters side like rules abiding to the rules, place this footprint in this particular site and add the services: septic tank, rainwater harvesting tank, then water supply, electrical. In all services add the lines add a legend, put the north mark, assume the north towards up. I hope it is clear. Your exercise 2. Exercise 1 will be direct questions from the rule book. It will be multiple choice questions and it will be directed from the rule book. Hope it is clear. Hello.
Hope the question is clear to the students, how to do the exercise.
I think I took 10 minutes extra, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. You've done an excellent job, Huda.
And students, if you have coming up with any doubts while you are doing the exercise or while you are reading your rule books, feel to message me or contact me so that I can help you with that. And Monday onwards, I will be there in the college. You can come and meet me and ask. That is also fine. And I'm sure that you will come up with doubts, like you will be having doubts once you start reading it. You do 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hour session. It is not enough for you to get an understanding about the rule books and checking that rule books and everything. What I wanted is just to give an insight that these things are there and you are supposed to check these things when you are doing the sanctioning process. Like the rule books and you need to check that rules it is not feasible and it is not required that you need to study the rules because that keeps on changes. Only thing you need to study how to read the rules. That is very important. How to interpret the rules is also important. And maybe once you will interpret it one way and after that only you will realize that the actual interpretation was something else. It keeps on changing. Like that is there. You can read the rule book. Seema ma'am, can we stop then?
I think the students should understand that out of the 15 exercises that are prescribed for them in this semester, 15 exercises including details like doors, windows, ventilators, up to trusses, buildings, single story, double story, office buildings, public health centers, and then we have these also like service plans, site plans, details of septic tank and soak pits, then even building a model or making a model of a 3D model. So these are the 15 exercises that are prescribed by the university for one semester. And unfortunately, the number of working days of classes that we got are very limited, and that too in the offline and online mode. So we have not been able to do full justice to the paper. But as Professor Huda pointed out, it is impossible to have a complete understanding of these two. If you take just these two exercises, it is very difficult to have a complete understanding. It's impossible to have a complete understanding of these two aspects. However, I am so very happy that Professor Huda could do justice to the job. And if it were anybody else, anybody from the civil engineering side, I think we wouldn't have been able to bring that out so very wonderfully well. Because I think Professor Huda had showed her own drawings, the plans that she had prepared for the clients. So that is, it adds flavor to what she has presented till now. I'm sure, as she said, there would be a lot of doubts when you actually do the exercises. And she is a very accessible person. So she is, and as she has said, she is willing to help you out with the doubts. Therefore, I request the students to do the exercise and come up with and clear the doubts. You can ask us, or you can route it directly through to Professor Huda. So I think we'll wind up with this. Special thanks to Professor Huda. We could see that she was not keeping well, and but still she has spent more than 2 hours on this lecture, and she has made a wonderful presentation, and she has spent a lot of time in simplifying it or demystifying the approval procedure, which is very, very important for the understanding of third semester civil engineering students, because she has to come down to that level too, because most of the terms are unfamiliar to you. So thank you very much, Professor Huda. We wish that we could make this a regular exercise for all third semester students, because you have been so very good at it. Thank you so much. And I request the students to stay back for a minute. Please don't log off. A batch, can you give the attendance in the chat box?
Ma'am, 1 second, ma'am. Can I leave?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Before that, thanks a lot for selecting me for this class. Thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity for taking a class in your department. Thanks a lot. And meanwhile, I will share you with the details like the KMPR, the rule book, whatever is there till date, and the exercises that we are supposed to do. I'll share it with you. And once again, thanks a lot. Can I leave?
Thank you, Huda. Okay. Thank you, Huda. Thank you, Huda. You may leave now. And special thanks to all the faculty who have joined and who have been attending the talk, and also to the students. I can see that the number of participants are increasing, thinking that